Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And it is player props on a Tuesday night for you guys. Going to be looking at a 6-game slate here. Also got a couple other game videos up for you. Definitely nailed what we talked about last night in those Warriors and Bucks games. Looking to stay hot on the 2 we have for you tonight and the player props we have here. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out everything we're talking about there and more. Also have the odds finder tool for you on there that we always talk about. So you can go ahead and just use that to make sure you're getting all the best odds available to you guys from US Sportsbooks this NBA season. Nate and I use it every morning for these player props, that's for sure. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into your first prop for tonight. We're talking about the Kings in this Lakers game. The King in this Lakers game.
Exactly. The King, soon to be the NBA scoring champion, LeBron. So this is a fun one to talk about because there's some markets up in terms of when it will happen. Will it be tonight that he gets 36 more? Will it be Thursday against Milwaukee? And I saw it a little lower than minus 220. That's where it is now for it to happen next game. I think that's an interesting way to kind of game under 36 and a half points for LeBron, or I think it's 35 and a half in this matchup, because I don't think he's going to force it. I am, 35 and a half points assists. Maybe he gets there, but I'm more interested in the assists, actually. I mean, with Anthony Davis out there, with LeBron, embracing his role as a facilitator and not looking like he's just like going to chase this record with OKC on a back-to-back and not necessarily going to hang around. They were not competitive in Golden State last night. The Lakers are getting a little bit better here. So I think LeBron kind of fills up a balanced stat line. 7.5 assists at plus 106 is more appealing to me than trying to take his points and the plus 130 for him to break the record tonight. Also interesting how the record will be broken, though. Minus 150 on a 2-pointer, plus 260 on a 3. And he said, outright, he really hopes it doesn't happen on a free throw. So he's going to do everything he can to make that happen. But back to this matchup, AD in there, last 5 games, LeBron's averaging 8.5 assists. His usage rate has dropped to 31%. It's around 30 with AD the last couple seasons, but the assists have gone up by 0.5 per game the last 2 seasons, as you would expect. He's going to feed him. I mean, OKC has no interior paint presence on defense. So it's going to be pretty easy for LeBron to just dime up AD in particular. And, against the Thunder, 25 assists his last 3 meetings. The Thunder give up the 10th most paint points, like I'm saying, and a ton of free throws. I mean, you won't get assists on that, but I think that's the advantage the Lakers will be able to press here, and why I like LeBron to stay under 36, but give us enough dimes for the over on that.
I mean, what's interesting is I'm looking at these numbers through the lens of where does LeBron want to break the record? Because the thing is I don't have a stronger feeling about this game where he's in LA, which probably where he wants to break it, where Kareem scored his last point in the NBA. Or does he want to do it against the Bucks, where Kareem played the majority of his career? I think the storyline is probably better for in LA. But yeah, to your point, I don't know if 36 is on the docket for him tonight necessarily. I think we'll see early, dude. I think we'll see very early if LeBron is coming out. If he's like, I'm scoring 10 to 12 in the first quarter, I think we kind of know what he's on about. If he's diming up the way that he is, I think we kind of know what he's on about. Luckily, if you do have an account to a spot like DraftKings or Sports or FanDuel, something like that, you can hit player props live as well. And maybe you want to see how he comes out and if he's really rearing to score, because it's narrative. LeBron is a narrative guy. He loves the drama. He loves all of it. And I think you really want to bank on where does he want to break this record. And I do think it's in LA to be honest. So we'll see what happens tonight, but you can live bet that one if you want as well. Going under here, Nate, on a guy who's been pretty hot lately, but we've got the balls to go D'Angelo Russell under 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. I think we really like adding the other peripheral stats there to just the points, because when he does decide to just randomly go off, he can do it. I think we can also look at over 2.5 turnovers here for him, as this is going to be a game where I do think the Nuggets will have their defense pretty ready in their last 6 versus D'Lo. 17 points a game for him, less than 3 boards and 6 assists or so. He's at about a 21% usage in that time frame, only 8 18 though in the last 2 against him. Denver's defense been a lot better, number 5 in defensive efficiency at home all season long, which is what we've been waiting for this team to be able to do since they've had Joker. D'Lo in his last trip to Denver had 13 points and 7 assists there with no rebounds. And Denver is top 10 in limiting opposing shooting guards in both points and assists and rebounds, I believe, as well. It's like 12th, 13th, whatever, really good still. So I think this is a good opportunity to go under on him, even though, his points are too low at 18.5. I do see a world where he gets 20, but also really easily see a world where he gets 20 and doesn't get 29 points, rebounds, and assists combined.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times where he has 1 or 0 rebounds is pretty stark here. So, yeah, if you were hoping for 18 points, 10 assists here, and then 1 rebound maybe, which is, I think, exactly the line he had when these teams played last time. But I think, yeah, Denver will be on some revenge here tonight. I'm actually kind of interested in -9 despite that spread. Gobert looks legitimately questionable, and I don't think they'll be that competitive against the Joker if Gobert's not ready to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of centers, Clint Capela, we touched on in that Hawks-Pelicans game as a reason to kind of like the Hawks. He's playing really well lately, and I think he's going to be needed in this matchup against the Pels. And when he plays big minutes, he's almost a lock for a double-double, especially when he's playing alongside Trae Young and he's catching lobs. Per 36 this year, 16 points, 15 rebounds a game. So you look at just 22.5 points, rebounds as the prop. You could also just take even money at FanDuel for a double-double or 11 rebounds, but I think the double-double is firmly in play here. His last 6 against Nola, 14 points per game, 13 rebounds, also 3 blocks, and is a plus 29, so he should be getting that run. It's 33 minutes in the last 2 meetings, and those numbers have even gone up to 17.5 and 14.5 boards, because, Jonas Valanciunas is a guy you need a true center out there against, and last time the Hawks played Chicago, Capela got 36 minutes against Vucevic as the best defensive option there. Okongwu is coming and taking some of his minutes for sure. And in a lot of matchups, it seems when they're facing a smaller team or a team that can spread it out a little bit more, they are going with Okongwu, but he has at least 4 fouls in 5 of his last 6 games. He's still very much in a learning process and doesn't quite have the length to deal with Joe Val, I think. So I think they'll press that matchup and keep riding Capela against the Pels.
Yeah, I like Capela and I like Trae. And both these numbers, they both make each other better. And so if I like Trae as much as I do in this game, why not, also assume that, because I do like him to get 10 assists, and I think you can expect Capela to be slamming a few of those down. You talk about, Jovel probably playing, but this is a team in the Hawks that, like we've talked about in that game video, dominating the boards when Capela is available as well lately. So I think it's a good call for him in a good spot tonight. Going to finish off these props, Nate, with Desmond Bane. 20.5 points tonight for Bane, as Memphis is playing the Chicago Bulls, second half of a back-to-back for Los Bulls after the Spurs game last night. Minus 104 for him to get 21 points. 3 threes for him tonight would be minus 130 on DK if you want that. That's pretty much the best place to find it. And really it's about, Memphis coming home. Bane, 26 points in their last game versus Toronto when they came back to their home floor, shooting better than, 4 for 7 from deep, better than 50% on that one. And in his last 4 home games, pretty similar numbers there. 24 a game, 4 assists and 3.5 made threes, shooting about 54% from deep there. So I think, Bane coming around, obviously when he's out there, we know what to expect from him. He's had a couple of fluky games because of the fact that he was sort of coming back from injury, but you see the further away he is from the last time he missed time, and he continues to get better, which I think is what we're looking for in this game. The Bulls, not great on defense all season long, allowing the 5th most points per game to shooting guards, the 4th most 3-pointers, and the 2nd most assists. So a lot of ways to bet Bane tonight. He has been diming up a bit more, like we talk about, better than 4 a game over his last 4 home games, but I think the 20.5 points is just so low that you expect him to get at least 21 tonight in a game against the Bulls that should have enough scoring, at least, especially for the Grizz.
Yeah, you could just tack on the 3 assists, I think, and make that a combined bet if you expect him to continue to be that secondary playmaker that they need. How much is Caruso going to be on Ja Morant tonight? And then the Grizz are going to just be like, all right, well, Bane, you initiate against, freaking Zach LaVine, who is mired in trade rumors along with DeRozan, and the Bulls are on a back-to-back. And how much defensive intensity are they really going to bring here in Memphis? I think the biggest concern might be a blowout. But I think Bane can still get 20-plus points in 3 quarters if everything's clicking for the Grizz.
Yeah, you worry about the the blowout factor a little bit at this point, but yeah, I think Bane's good enough to get above his 21 before we get there. I think I am going to add on the 3 assists since it's just three. To be honest with you, I kind of like adding that in there and not losing too much juice. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Looking to stay super hot with you guys on these player props and the game videos as well. So until we see you next, happy betting.